Three, two, one, life.
Okay, welcome guys, welcome to game number 2 here in the grand finals of the Return of the Kings. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and hopefully we're going to see some more great games here, as this is a best of 5, and we're here now with TheViper DauT versus TaToH and Nicov on Arena. The first time we're seeing Arena in this tournament, and of course we have just seen Hideout, but Arena is really a very different map, even though it might look visually sort of similar with the walls and all of that stuff. But trust me, it's different enough that we're going to see a very different style of game here, and that is reflected in the civilizations which have been picked by Nicov and TaToH. So down to the south of the map, in the red, we've got Nicov. He's playing as the Teutons, and we're going to talk about why that might be in a little while. We also have to his right his teammate TaToH playing as the Aztecs, which is a pretty typical civilization for Arena. But I'll hand it to Rez now. He can introduce the other civs, and then we'll go back to Nicov.
So on the left side of the map, we have DauT playing as the Green Indians, and just below him, we have the Viper playing as the Yellow Malians. I have to say, this is one excellent draft. I'm going to really quickly go over the other civilizations, and then we're going to talk about the Teutons. So, Malians, great arena civilization. Their economy bonuses are super suited for any sort of monk play, of which these maps tend to rely on, as well as just booming, going for crossbows, etc. Indians as well, excellent economy, wide variety of units, strong Imperial Age. Aztecs, goes without saying, excellent monks, really, really strong. And right below them, we have the Teutons. There are so many reasons why this civilization pick is brilliant. And of course, their team bonus is that units resist conversion. And this applies to this applies to your teammate as well. This is really good if you're expecting monks from your opponent, which we do usually think is a pretty viable option. And overall, the civilization has sustained some pretty solid buffs. We've given them the Ironclad technology in the Castle Age, which gives a crapload of armor to their siege weapons. It makes their rams, onagers, bombard cannons, etc. really resilient. We might even see some siege towers this game, because that unit was basically made for Arena. So I'm very excited about the possibility of the Teutons here.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it should be noted that the Teutonic Knight has incredibly high melee armor, and the unique unit of the Viper, which is the Gabeto, is a ranged melee unit. So, although they can kite the Teutonic Knights around, if Nikov's in the driving seat and wants to force an engagement, and Viper is defending with some Gabetos, could be worth considering adding some Teutonic Knights into the front. But yeah, that resistance to conversion is super nice team bonus to have, and certainly something valuable on Arena. But interestingly, the Viper and DauT, neither of them really taking a super strong monk civ here. Neither of them, for example, taking the Burmese, which is arguably one of the strongest monk civs in the game right now, due to the cheaper monastery techs and all of that good stuff. But obviously the Burmese aren't in the game, so we're not going to talk about the Burmese too much, but I think that's worth noting.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. We also gave the Teutonic Knight like 10% extra movement speed or something like that. And when you're that slow, that's actually pretty nice. Combined with Squires, the Teutonic Knight now, it's still very slow, but it's a lot harder to kite. And the Malians are, I mean, in the early game, we usually see them going for more of an archer style of play based off their eco bonuses, but in the later stages of the game, it's that infantry that we usually see them spamming, and they have very, very poor answers to those Teutonic Knights if they decide to go for that. Of course, hand cannoneers are an option for both the Teutons and the Malians, and overall, I'm just excited to see the civilization, because provided the Teutons have gold, they actually have a wide variety of strong units. They just need that gold, and it is a 2v2.
Yeah, Teutons can be very strong, especially in the late game. You know, they can get a lot of siege units, they can go for bombard towers and lock down the map. So they're I think they're a very strong civ. It just has to be the right kind of situation. And, you know, I'm interested to see how that's going to play out here. In a 1v1, I certainly wouldn't favor them in this kind of matchup, but in a 2v2, the dynamic does change a lot, and there's that teamwork that comes into play, and civilizations can become more viable in that situation. So obviously, we're expecting the good old fast castle from all of these guys, but Viper, I think, could be the player to go for the monks in this one, if he is to go for the monks at all, because the Malians do get their gold mining upgrades for free. That's a nice little bonus to have if you are planning on going monks and taking the relics. And also talking about DauT Civ as the Indians, you know, we know how much DauT likes to boom. We saw it on the last map. He did a 5 TC boom as the Spanish. If he wants to boom, the Indians are his Civ. Cheaper villagers every age, super easy to boom with that. And he also gets those camels as well, which aren't really going to come into play this game, I feel, unless the Teutons feel like adding in some paladins or something. But TaToH's certainly not going to be making any cavalry units, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and I feel like the Viper is disincentivized for making monks because the Teutons team bonus, but we'll have to see. Teutonic Knights are also an excellent counter to things like Imperial Camels, and since this unit is so binary and it's so strong at what it does, which is beating melee units, it kind of forces DauT and the Viper to avoid making those kind of units, kind of shoehorns them into a more ranged army comp, in which both TaToH and Nicov have siege onagers, and we have Ironclad for the Teutons, so I can't wait to see what Nicov goes for, but in the meantime, because players start with stone walls, it's going to be a fast castle age.
Yeah, now what about the unique technologies for these new civs? The Sultan's technology for the Indians could be useful in this kind of game, for example.
Oh yeah.
Faster gold income from all sources. That's going to apply to those trade carts and give them a little trade buff in the late game if it comes to trading there. I mean, trading on Arena can be pretty challenging because it does require you to have great map control. There's no easy way to trade without having like a team wall up between the two bases. And if it does come down to a team wall, I think Nicov and TaToH have the better situation for that, since there's a smaller gap between their two bases and they can trade along this right side of the map. Whereas DauT and Viper kind of have to go, you know, a little bit bigger on the team wall, and I don't know, we might even not get to the trading at all. Now, I think something that you said earlier was really important. That's the siege tower, something that is overlooked in nearly every game, but Arena is a map where siege towers can be incredibly strong to get the early aggression on. Now, if anyone's going to use the siege tower, I feel like it's going to be TaToH. He's got the most experience with these new, with the expansions, with the siege towers and the Dark Age transports. And we've seen him in the very first, in a game earlier on, using the transport ship in the Dark Age versus Slam on Sandbank. Now, if anyone's going to use that siege tower, I feel like it could be TaToH, and if he does go for it, then that could be devastating to DauT, who we know tends to like to boom a little more. However, with that said, I just look at DauT's base and I see he's building a barracks. That could indicate that he's actually looking to do some Castle Age aggression in the center of the map.
Yeah, he might end up going for some early scout cavalry, and what this will do is it will deny the relics from his opponents, which do generate so much value over the course of the game. For those of you who are new to the expansions, the Siege Tower is a unit that can't attack, that you build in the Siege Workshop in the Castle Age. Fairly expensive, but what it does do is it allows you to funnel your units inside of it and then ungarrison them on the other side of a single layer of walls. It isn't that great of a unit, but it's really situational. But it did get a 100 wood cost reduction, and if there is ever a map where it's good, it has to be Arena, where players are guaranteed to start with a one-tile layer of walls and no one really sees it coming, so curious to see if we'll get any of that. And well, DauT up to the DauT not up to the Castle Age, never mind. It's the new Indians architecture confusing me. He's putting down that stable and the market, so he's thinking about going to the Castle Age. Will we see some scouts from him?
Yeah, the Indian architecture does look very Castle Age-ish in the Feudal Age, like with their nice stone roofs and their lovely walls, and everyone else is like in mud huts and, you know, under you know, wattle and daub. So it's pretty cool. But you know, everyone's going to be up to castle very shortly anyway. I think TaToH should be the first, if not Nicov. DauT and Viper a little slower actually, but I've noticed Viper up on 28 population, DauT up on 29, TaToH and Nicov both up on 28 and 27. So the faster speed is explained by the lack of villagers, and DauT now also adding in scout cavalry to take the center of the map and I guess prevent the relics and take some early control here.
And meanwhile, the Viper with an archer range, going for crossbows. So, here's the thing. DauT and the Viper are clearly deciding not to focus so much on their economy, and instead spend a little bit of resources early on to try and apply some pressure in the middle of the map. Clearly, they value the relics a lot. They think it's a worthwhile trade-off. And not only that, perhaps they also fear the late game or the Castle Age push from Nicov and TaToH. Scouts moving out, I wonder... I wonder how Nicov will respond to those crossbows. God, it'd be great if the crossmen actually get put inside a siege tower, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on Viper here. He's already started some archer production. This is very typical of how the Britons would play on Arena, for example. Like, it's not uncommon to see the Britons making quite a lot of crossbows in the Castle Age, picking off monks, securing the map control. And we're seeing that sort of similar thing here, with both Viper and DauT committing to this sort of feudal, or these feudal units, I should say. Yeah, right now though, Viper building a gate here on his own wall so he can get his archers out without having to open the defenses, and he is going to be next up to Castle Age, I think. You notice the difference though. Nicov and TaToH have been castle for a little while already. We see from Nicov a second TC and a third TC at the back. TaToH doing the same actually. Both of these guys going straight into the new TCs. And there's a very different playstyle here, as both Viper and DauT go straight to the monastery, neglecting a second TC so far.
So one other reason why I feel like the Viper is playing this aggressively and making that trade-off, because really Age of Empires is always just a game of trade-offs. I think that he saw the way that Nikov's map was, not only is the rest distance rather short, that he can just get there in time, but also there's a secondary stone mine, a secondary gold mine, and a relic right in front of Nikov's base. He doesn't know how close Nikov's main gold is to the edge of his base, but basically there are a lot of weak points to harass with those crossmen. DauT has definitive map control in the middle, and I think this is also smart because we know that the Aztecs love their monk play, and now it's being denied. No early relics for them, and here comes the crossbows.
Yeah, TaToH just queuing his first monk right now, and like we said, those crossbows are already there. Now, what's going to be interesting is to see whether Viper does fletching or bodkin arrow, because right now, neither of those techs are done, and that tells us a lot. If he goes for fletching and bodkin arrow, we know he's going to be looking for more of this Castle Age aggression. If he just leaves it as it is, it's simply just for some early map control. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, and he's also adding in his own monk now to grab the relics. Looks like we're going to see DauT doing the same with his first monk coming out, and there's TaToH at the back in defense now, scared to go out, doesn't want to leave his base. He really wants those relics. He's itching for them. He just knows that he's just in danger if he leaves his base right now. The flip side though, of course, is that, you know, TaToH and Nicov are going to get their boom much faster. DauT is only just adding his third TC. Viper's just adding his third TC, whereas Nicov and TaToH are already, you know, well and truly on their way. Their third TCs are up and running. They've got loads of farms down. And as we know, the Aztecs have great food economy as well, thanks to their farm book. And so, yeah, I think it puts them ahead economically at the cost of map control and the cost of the relics. Is that worth it? Well, we'll have to see once they hit the Imperial Age, I guess. And we'll have to see if Viper and DauT can really push this envelope right now and maybe pressure these walls. I think that might be on their mind, as Viper does drop a forward siege workshop and start making a mangonel.
Yeah, such a contrast in playstyles between the two teams, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this pays off. But right now, what this game plan signals to me is they want to shut down TaToH. They want to shut down the Aztecs. The scouts are positioned outside. We have crossmen positioned outside as well. And in the meantime, they're just scooping up all the relics and prepping themselves for a very steady late-game gold income boost. If the game goes super late, and DauT and the Viper are worried it might, they now have all the relics, which will help them out quite a bit. This mangonel moving in, another monastery coming down for TaToH. He's going to have to be quite careful to not get sniped by those crossbows, but he doesn't fear them as much until fletching comes out, so I'm curious to see if the Viper will go for that. I need to ask my roommates to turn it down a little bit. I'll be right back.
Okay, I see a lot of people in the chat being like, tower hype, tower hype. I think they're expecting that tower to come out from the Viper in this forward siege workshop. Unless I'm missing something, I don't see a siege tower from anybody yet. And I don't think we will see one either for now. Viper here, just making mangonels for the time being, looking for an angle. And it seems like he's actually going to be going towards Nicov, perhaps, because obviously TaToH does have those defensive monks in position. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a shame we won't see the siege tower. It could be incredible, and it could be really strong. But even still, I mean, the mangonels are going to break through these walls pretty quickly anyway. And he's already started to go to town on them. I think the really important thing here for Viper and DauT, Viper and DauT, is just to grab the relics. And they're doing that. I mean, Viper has one relic already. DauT has one relic already. The third relic's on the way in. And you know, that's exactly what they wanted to do, and they've achieved that. So the wall getting low, and Nicov has to react. His reaction going to be a siege workshop here for now, but it is quite late to come up, and it's going to be a while before he can actually get that first mangonel out to defend with. He's going to have to quick wall up here, and he's doing that just right now with these 3 gates, the 2 gates and the wall on the right-hand side, just to try and make sure Viper can't loop around the back and get into his very fragile economy right now. So I'm wondering if Rez is back.
Yeah. So it's, of course, faster to quick wall with gates, which is why I love to see that. We saw a little bit of an engagement there between DauT and TaToH, in which TaToH comes out on top, even though the scouts resist conversion and they also deal bonus attack damage to the monks. He did end up converting a bunch of them, coming out on top, secures this relic, and this will be very important for TaToH because he generates extra relic income. But right now it's going to come down to some crucial control, as, well, Nicov is under a lot of pressure. The Viper into this base. These mangonels are going to need to trade effectively. Can they do it?
Well, I mean, I would say Nicov here adding in 2 stables with the knights. That's actually going to allow him to try and pick off these mangonels. Of course, TaToH's got those 3 scouts now as well, thanks to the donation of DauT. And speaking of donations, that's going to be coming in at the back right now and picking off another monk, I imagine, from Viper. So he's really getting a lot of value out of this, these 3 scouts, which he's converted. Oh, is he going to get this? Is he going to get it? Yeah, down it goes. And now, with no monk in the picture, Nicov can feel free to go in with his mangonels, and that's just wonderful, isn't it? The nice split from Viper, though. Is it going to be enough to take down the mangonel? I don't think it will be. Nicov get a villager over there to repair.
Ooh.
Oh, it's so close.
Some excellent control from both sides. That was really good mangonel shot from Nicov. We see him trying to lead the Viper on, but that minimum range was so difficult to deal with. Another thing that makes the Aztecs such a strong arena civilization is that the Castle Age metagame heavily revolves around things surviving mangonel shots and being able to deal with them. And the Aztecs can live that mangonel shot with the extra HP. Nicov did a great job defending this, and now the Viper very, very far behind. I love the choice of making some knights on the part of Nicov. He needed that to pick off that mangonel. And now, momentum is shifting.
Yeah, 60 population for Viper right now. Nicov on 85. Okay, Nicov does have a few knights, but he has got a lot more economy out. He's also adding in like a lot of farms. And it looks like he's pretty committed to making these knights here as he adds the 3rd stable as well. That was a great defense by Nicov. He really did a great trade versus Viper. Bear in mind that TaToH got a lot of value out of those 3 converted knights, scouts as well. And it looks like TaToH is going to be researching Redemption, I think, now. Is he doing Redemption? Yeah, he's got it. 85%. And he's going to go ahead and convert the Siege Workshop here in the middle of the map from the Viper as well. Just to add insults to injury. More free donations here. And if you want to donate to the stream, by the way, you can actually do that on Patreon. Now is not the time. Okay. But TaToH here, lovely that they pushed it back, got the map control. He's actually going to drop some forward barracks here. And are we just going to see Eagle spam from TaToH? I think we might, as he goes up to the Imperial Age here.
And that's a really, really nice combination with the Teutons on your team as well. Because, of course, the Eagle Warriors are hard countered by a lot of melee units, and the Teutonic Knight is a great way to disincentivize that. So, DauT is going for camels to try and hold the line here, which I think will be excellent versus Nikov's Knights. But he does have to watch out for those monks. DauT on his way to the Imperial Age, though. With the defensive castle, I think he'll be just fine, unless TaToH is not too far behind on the way to Imp. Actually, TaToH's going to reach that first. That's really bad for him. We're going to see some siege weapons. DauT in a lot of trouble as he has to wait for the Viper to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. Viper here can't really come to his aid at all, and I wonder if Nicov is just going to double team him completely. And I think that's definitely going to be the case now as he's set his gather points to the wall of DauT. What is DauT's defense? Well, obviously he's got the stables up. He can only really make 1 unit from the stable, and that's going to be the camels, and they're coming out fast. But can he defend this? It's going to be tough. Of course, TaToH here with the rams. He's going to be doing capped ram pretty much straight away, I feel. And we've also got the castle here for DauT in defense, but I don't think that's going to stand for much longer. Anyway, DauT with the Imperial Age upgrade himself, are we expecting to see the heavy camel upgrade here? I would think so. But, you know, against these monks, against Eagle Warriors, it might be tough. And I think I was wrong about the Eagle Warriors because TaToH is actually doing pikes right now.
Which is, of course,
I don't
also
see a lot
fine.
else.
It's also fine for the Aztecs to go for pikes. They do have great pikes that spawn 15% faster. One cool little thing we saw there is these little things that make the difference is that when Nicov was attacking that gate, he didn't have his mangonel attack the gate too, or the blast would have actually damaged his own knight, so instead he attacked an adjacent piece of stone wall, which would still damage the gate, but not his own units. And now they're into DauT's base. DauT has camels, he's researching heavy camel, and I guess he doesn't really feel like he has too much of a choice here. He's going to go for an excellent quick wall off to stem the bleeding, and right now he's going to need some help, but what is the Viper's game plan? He's not ready to assist yet.
It's a trap. It's a trap. They've come in. They've come into the jaws of DauT, and DauT here with his heavy camels incoming. But oh no, DauT, is he going to finish this heavy camel upgrade?
Oh my God. As
the stable is going down very quickly. Oh no, 85%, 88%. But
90.
The
He's repairing it.
Oh wow, there you go.
No.
Heavy camel, it's coming in. Only just though. The stable about to fall, but the repairs from DauT coming in, clutch repairs, and that heavy camel upgrade is now going to allow him to push this out. But bear in mind, there are now those Aztec pikemen in there as well, so it's going to be rough either way, but at least he has the upgrade that he really needed there in order to hold this off for as long as possible. Viper's not reacting yet, but or sending anything yet, but there are some archery ranges being built between him and DauT's base. But this is great momentum for Nicov and TaToH, and if they can capitalize on this, well, they could just go ahead and win the game right here.
So Viper has to make a tough decision here. Do I continue going for ranged units, which are suboptimal for the Malians? They do not have Bracer, but he already has upgrades for them. Or do you go for something else, and then you have to take a while to transition? And it looks like he's just going to go for the ranged units because he knows that he needs to save DauT right now. So he's just going to make something, send it in there. Here comes the pikemen, the monks, the cavaliers. Such a strong combination from this team comp. Defensive monks won't do anything because of the Teutons team bonus. And now the Viper in here with a couple of good conversions. He needs to send units pronto.
That castle is going down so quickly here as TaToH brings in the capped rams. And, you know, right now there's just like 3 siege workshops spamming rams into here. The pikes, of course, I mean, they've only got +2 attack. They hardly got any upgrades at all, but the sheer numbers really just helping him to stop these camels from engaging. It's too scary for DauT. Viper's still not prepared. He's still not got any military.
Oh, is he
out on
waiting
the
for
map
chemistry?
yet. And I think you might be right. He is... Yeah, there you go. Hand cannons from Viper. There you go. So, hand cannons coming in, but it's... Is it going to be one of those situations where Viper just pulls it back with like an insanely good late game push, just with like hand cannons and bombard cannons? It could happen, but it's still going to be super tough.
If there's anyone that can do it, it is the Viper. However, even though I feel like the hand cannoneers plus bombard cannons is absolutely the right choice, in a vacuum, like I feel like that's also maybe what DauT wanted to do, but again, he's taking so much pressure, he had to make camels, can't wait for chemistry. The Viper made an interesting choice. He decided to wait for chemistry, which is one of the slowest to research technologies in the game. He's got the army, but it's going to take so long to mass up. Is this going to mean that DauT's going to lose so much of his base? Will he have time to build back up? He might not. They're going to engage in unison, but I feel like the Viper went for too slow of a build here to really save him.
I don't know. Don't underestimate Viper's hand cannons. We've also got Imperial Camel from DauT as well now. That's a lot of monks from TaToH though, and he's just going to get those conversions. He's got block printing done, and he is just going ham on the conversions here, stopping Viper's army before it can even close in at this point. Well played by TaToH getting them, but there's the Paladin upgrade from Nicov. Now this is where it gets interesting. Imperial Camels and hand cannons versus pikemen and paladins. They counter each other so well. Who's going to come out on top? With all these monks back here, I gotta guess it's going to be TaToH and Nicov, to be honest. But I can't underestimate those Imperial Camels. So I do think they're going down. So
what's going on here is actually very interesting. And it's the monks from TaToH. Basically, we want our units to match up favorably. We want the hand cannoneers to be fighting the pikemen. We want the Imperial Camels to be able to focus fire down the paladins. But that couldn't happen because of the conversions. The hand cannoneers had to kill each other. They had to kill the converted Imperial Camels. And that was such a close fight. But in the end, they come out on top. Such great teamwork from Nicov and TaToH.
Yeah, very well played by them. They're going to get Viper and DauT to call the GG right there. And I loved that doubling onto DauT. I'm amazed at how far behind Viper was getting into that action there. It's not really that surprising given how much he lost trying to attack Nicov in the early game. But that aggression into DauT's base was fantastic, really well coordinated, and with the Paladin upgrade as well coming in for Nicov at the last minute of that game, that really secured them the victory there. And that means that the scores are going to be tied up 1-1. A very nice fight, though, by Nicov and TaToH. Great control. And the monks from TaToH, I mean, TaToH seems to be the guy who is relied on with the monks in this team. He's always the one to build the monks. He's always the one playing the Aztecs or the Burmese. And he does such a great job with the monk micro, making them as effective as possible, getting as many conversions as possible, and really turning the tide of the battle.
Yeah, it just goes to show that the Teutons as a civilization are really strong, even if you don't get to make some of the things that are iconic for them, like the Teutonic Knights. They have fully upgraded paladins, just missing husbandry. They have a strong economy with the farm discount. They have an open tech tree. If it's a team game, the dynamic changes, and here, the Teutons take the game. Well played.
Yeah, very well played. And, you know, we didn't see the super late game, which we almost, we kind of expected maybe. I mean, we were talking about siege towers and we were talking about, you know, Teutonic Knights. You know, obviously none of that came into the fray. But I think maybe if the game had gone super late, or if someone had tried one of those sort of early siege tower drops, it could have been a different story. But even still, an entertaining game nonetheless. And Nicov and TaToH there going to get themselves that victory. Now, that's 1-1. This is a best of 3, so there are more games to come. That's right, it's a best of 5. My bad. So there are more games to come. It's the first of 3 wins. That's what I meant to say. So awesome that we have a tie so far. Still all to play for. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're nearly at 3K viewers, so don't go anywhere. We need to blast through that 3K viewer mark. You can also subscribe as well if you want to support the stream and help us to do more of this. As you know from earlier, we did announce the European LAN, which we're hosting in summer. And we're going to be hosting weekly midweek madness events every single Wednesday from the 1st of March onwards. And right here on this channel, on the 17th of March, we're going to be hosting the Elimination Draft Tournament as well. More details about all of that coming soon. So I think we should be ready to go into the next game if you guys are.
Is there a draft for the next game?
Yes.
Okay. So then while you start the draft, I will be back in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready for drafting, Zach?